Hey folks, I'm Bilal.
And I'm Shaida.
Welcome to another podcast.
And today's topic will be...
Hold on. First and foremost, make sure that you guys subscribe.
And like our channel.
Yeah, like the channel. And click the little, what is it, like the bell?
The little bell, bing.
Yeah. Right. So that way you know when we're putting our next video out. All right?
Yes, so can I go ahead and introduce the next topic?
The floor is yours.
The next topic will be to prenup or not to prenup. That's the question.
That is the question.
Now, you know, we have mixed feelings when it comes to a prenuptial agreement between two parties. And I'll let you go first, seeing that it was his idea.
Ladies first. I wouldn't necessarily say it was my idea.
You go first because you're the one who just... You know, you wanted a prenup, you know, when we got married, before we got married.
I don't think it was necessarily something like I wanted. I don't think, well, yeah, people do want. But for me, it was one, you know, as Muslims, when you read the Quran, God clearly tells you to write things, put things in writing. So it is something that's actually a standard practice in Islam to have a contract. Now, a prenuptial agreement, you know, the word prenup is literally like a word that people are like, just hate some people. Mm-hmm. So, and prenuptial agreement, all it is a contract, it's an agreement.
Well, I have 5 sisters, you know, 5 beautiful sisters. They are all married and none of them signed a prenup. So how do you explain that?
Well, for them, that was them. But I know millions of Muslims around the world who have a contract. Again, prenuptial agreement is something that's usually a standard with the Western society, but I'm talking contract. And prenuptial and a contract is really one and the same because a prenup is a contract. But God tells us to write things down and have a contract.
Okay.
Does he not say that in the Quran?
Yes, he does.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, but the type of
podcast is over with. Like that's it.
The type of contract you presented to me had nothing to do with like, you know, from a religious point of view. It was dealing with all the little secular things that you've accomplished in this life.
Definitely not true. 95. See, that's where you're wrong, and you can't tell the audience that because 97% of our contract was everything to do with religion.
It had religious elements in it. There was religion in it.
You changed it up.
But guess what?
You changed it up. You changed it up.
Right?
Yeah, that's
his stuff, his house, his home.
I thought you said that I was gonna go first.
You go first.
Okay.
I'm getting a little hype.
Yeah, hype. Yeah, that is assets. All right, which is the other 3% of the contract. So, but it talks. You know what? Funny you should bring this up. Let me go to my trusty phone here.
He likes to bring out information on his phone.
It's our contract right here, right? So, one of the things in our contract, it says clearly, marriage involves the joining of 2 individuals with the purpose of forming a partnership that will combine our individual strengths, abilities, talents, and skills. Together with, what does that say?
Love and caring.
With the love and caring, we commit ourselves to striving for marriage.
Listen, this taking me back to
the
Ferris wheel.
Appreciation.
Let's take me back to the Ferris wheel and the carriage ride. Put the phone away, please. Put the phone away.
So, in dealings with each other as advised by the Quran and the example of Muhammad, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Furthermore, we commit ourselves to a spirit of openness, trust, strong communication, mutual consultation in our relationship. So, most of what I'm reading, and it keeps going on, that is what our contract actually stipulates and talks about.
By the way, people, this contract is how many pages?
Maybe like 15 pages.
15, 1, 5.
It has ayats. It has ayats, which are verses of the Quran in it. It talks about her gift that I gave her, her mar, our diary. That is in the contract, what I gave to her. You know, that even if she didn't divorce, you know, she divorced, I can't take it back. It's hers. It's her gift. And all of that things in it. But it's so funny.
Yes.
that you only talk about the things that you don't like, which
okay.
all like the contract is. Here's the thing. It is like so. First of all, I don't know if you guys know. I'm an imam, and I marry people all the time, and just about every single person I marry has a contract. Now you have what you want to put in the contract and all that, but that is a standard, which literally goes for both husband and wife equally. Let me ask you a question. Did you like let your attorney see the contract?
I did let my attorney see the contract.
What did your attorney actually
Let's not
say?
get into that right now.
No, what is it? No.
Let's not get into that. Let's go back to,
We're not going to get into it right now, but she is going to have to answer that question.
Why you were so adamant that I sign a prenuptial agreement? Like, I felt like you never had it before in your other marriages, and you just bring it into this new marriage with me.
Ours had a contract.
Was it because I was not from the United States and I was coming from a foreign country and we didn't spend much time together, and you was feeling like, oh, I need to secure myself because I don't know what is her real intentions? Does it have anything to do with that? That's the entire vibe I was getting, and that is why I was so resistant when it comes to signing the prenup. I felt like, you want me to go ahead and speak?
Well, you just asked me a question.
Because I want to say how I feel.
You can go. But you asked me a question. Do you want me to respond to the question, or?
Okay, go ahead and respond, and I will continue. Go ahead.
So when we first started talking, like before we was even remotely a couple, I brought that up. I said, whoever I marry, that I want to make sure that I have things in writing. I have a contract.
You said that.
Okay.
But there's some.
So that answers your question. It has absolutely nothing to do with you being. I literally clearly said whoever I marry, and I'm coming from a person who is in their 40s, right? Who has children and things like that. If you're the same person that you were at 20 that you're at 40, then something's wrong.
True, I agree with that one. But listen, this is the thing, everyone, and people don't know. Contrary to unpopular belief. When Bilal met me, I was doing my business back home, wasn't I? I was a businesswoman back home doing my yoga stuff. It was not on the scale where he does business, but it was still good, sufficient enough for me as a single woman, helping, paying my bills. I was still living in my parents' home because Islamically, you don't leave your parents' home until you get married. And I come from a strict Islamic family. Neither do you go and live with a man unmarried. We don't shack up with men. That is not what we do in our faith.
Yeah,
so in order for me to leave,
you can't. Let me just point.
No, I'm telling them how I grew up.
I know.
So I have to
you
tell
said
them.
Islamically though. That's incorrect. Culturally, you can stay in your house, but from Islamic standpoint, you don't shack with a man, but you can move out. Just because I know there's going to be comments about that. From an Islamic standpoint, a woman can move out of her home and live by herself if she chooses to. But from a culture standpoint, there are many people from around the world who choose to.
And if you have parents like mine, like most parents don't let their daughters, Muslim daughters, beautiful daughters, leave their home unmarried because they'll be worried. Like, you're going to live, anything can happen to you. Somebody could harass you when you're coming home. You have no protection, no meal protection.
Right.
You're by yourself. So a parent will not feel secure, especially the parents that I have, to say, okay, Shaida, now go ahead and spread your wings and leave home, not knowing that I don't have that meal protection.
Yeah.
Hence, my mother, you guys seen a little bit of her on TV. She's very strict, she's a funny lady.
She's about that life.
She's about that life, and she's very strict. It was like I couldn't do anything much growing up. I was always living in this little bubble, but it was a nice bubble because she made it very comfortable for us.
Bubble.
Whereas we were able to do whatever we want in relations to
in the bubble.
The bubble, yeah. So let's move forward with that. So I was doing my thing as a businesswoman, and after my business blossomed during the pandemic, a lot of businesses actually closed down. Well, everything was going virtually, so everyone was like tuning into my virtual classes. So I had my thing going on, right? So when I came to America, I had to cease and desist, stop everything that I'm doing, close down my yoga studio, and say goodbye to my yoga clients. And it was so sad because I built up a couple of loyal clients that I had to say, oh, you know what? I'm on my way to America now. I'm going to get married. I cannot be working when I reach across there because I would need to have my legal documents in order first to start back. So all these things were playing a factor why I was so upset about the prenup. So I come to America with the clothes on my back, a couple of savings, nothing much to say, oh, I could buy a home now. I could move to a different part and live lavishly. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to rebuild myself. So when Bilal presented the prenup to me, if I felt like there was nothing in it that protected me, and I keep saying this, why do women get married? We want loyalty, we want respect, and we also want security. I don't care who you are, you can't say no. Women, we need security. That's something that was instilled in us from small. We want security. We want to be in a relationship where we feel secure, like this person could take care of us, this person could take care of the home without having to worry about that when the day comes. So we need that security. So for me, moving here, I saw security in him, and I felt like, you know what, the time that I will spend in America not working, I know Bilal will be able to take good care of me. So when he presented me with a prenup, I felt like, okay, what is in this for me if anything shall happen to us? I closed my business. Are you seeing where I'm coming from? I wish if you would have presented this now, if you would have presented a prenup to me and say, and there was a section that says, you know, you're getting back the business up and running that you closed down, I would have never been like, I would have said, okay, I would have signed that immediately.
Okay, so let's unpack what you just said. One part you said you had a business, which I understand that you were doing well, etc. But you also mentioned when COVID came, you shut it down from the studio.
I moved
right?
virtually. Yeah.
And you went virtually. So you didn't have a studio when you came here. You was doing everything virtually, which means that those clients that you had, those are still your clients. You just pause for a second because until you get your employment card or your green card and stuff like that. So those people still your clients, baby, right? Doesn't mean like you can't have them anymore, right? And the fact of the matter is too, now that you're actually here in the States, you can have even a broader range of clients as well too, which we talked about, which, right, you know that as well too. So I think, I don't know, it's like, just like you said, security, and I'm 1,000% agree with you, which you have been receiving a lot of that, is, you know, we also want to make sure that, I think for male and female, because sometimes when you have one spouse and you have, you know, different, you know, assets and things like that, that you want to make sure that there's security protect. Let me ask you this. It's like, you know, you're living in a home or we live in this home, whatever, or any home for that matter, you know, nice home, you know, looks okay. Do we have insurance on the home?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, why have insurance on the home even though it's a nice home? Like there's no electrical issue, there's no plumbing issue, but we have insurance on it.
Yeah.
What about like a car? Let's say you have a nice car that you drive. Do you have insurance on the car?
You need car insurance.
Gotta have car insurance.
Okay.
But why? Even
I
though
know
it's
where you're
nice
going with this.
So you have the insurance on it because in case you're not expecting your car to break down or somebody to hit you or you get in a car wreck, but you have it in case something happens. You're not expecting like your house to catch on fire, but you have it, one, to protection for the lender who gave you the money, but it's security there for in case something happens. I have life insurance on me, which might I add, before we had our official legal marriage, because we did our nikah, so that's official for us. But before she was on my life insurance policy. She's been on my life insurance policy since we did our nikah. You've been on my life insurance. She's on my trust, my family revocable trust. So you've been on all of those things even before you even signed.
Bear in mind,
prenup.
I have never seen proof of this. It's only been through word of mouth.
Baby, the safe
I've never
box,
seen the receipts that I am on the insurance.
It's not a receipt. There's a safe box that I gave you the code to and all those documentation. She doesn't like to read. And to this day, she really never fully read the prenup, because if she did, she wouldn't say all of the stuff was about assets.
I left that to my lawyer.
Yeah, exactly. That lets you know. That lets you know. Like majority of it was actually in favor of her, which like if she left me, she would still get stuff. She wasn't going to leave without anything. We talked about the diary. So all those things that she was talking about are actually in the contract, but she never read it because she immediately, when she heard prenuptial agreement, she just got into a titsy fit. And tell the truth though. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth. When you heard a prenup, what did it do to you?
Yes,
even though you didn't even read it.
I had a hissy fit, yeah.
Exactly.
The prenup secures me once I'm with Bilal, right? If anything should happen to us, your girl have to leave with the clothes on her back, right?
That
and
is
that's
not
what
true
I
because you
didn't
didn't
want.
read it.
I didn't want.
It actually says the exact opposite.
Okay, I'll be living nice, and if anything happened to us, I have to leave with this. You know how people leave with the rod and the clothes behind on the back, walking like, okay, bye.
But you know what? There are some people who are like, okay, you should go out of the marriage the same way you came into the marriage. Specifically, if it was like fresh, like if we didn't make it in a couple of months or a couple of years or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like people believe that whatever he or she earned and made before the marriage should be theirs. And then whatever you guys do together, that's when you guys share and split up and things like that. What do you feel about that? Let's say if you have a house back home in Trinidad, right, that you actually own and you have some properties and things like that. Like, should we just got married? Should I be on the deeds and everything of all those things?
Like if it was my stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to think about that one. Listen.
You gotta think about.
No, I will give you. No. I will do. I'm just making joke. I will put you on everything, because we are a team. We're husband and wife. Yeah.
She thought too long.
No. I will secure my husband.
But that was the
too.
point I'm making.
No, like if I'm on a higher level than my husband, my job is to upgrade him.
My
with
job
me.
is right.
I believe two individuals, husband and wife, they have to upgrade each other. If your spouse is not lifting you up and it's keeping you in the same position for so long, and something is wrong with that relationship.
One of the main reasons I married you, obviously, your faith, your regard that you have for God, family life, and things like that. But I also believe that you are an asset to me and to our family. I think that like everybody in your life, like you have to look at and say, okay, is this person, are they an asset to me? Are they a liability to me?
Yeah.
Right? Are they taking from me? Are they adding, to it, right?
Yeah.
Obviously there's certain things you can't do right now because,
still waiting
the
on
working
stuff,
issues and all that. So from a financial standpoint, I know you can't do certain things, but that doesn't mean like you can't uplift your husband, uplift your wife, and help them excel in their dreams and their goals, and vice versa. Them do those things, to you as well too. Even though you can't, like, there's a lot of things that's happening behind the scenes that we're waiting and doing that I'm doing for her business, until she gets that, hey, I can work now, and stuff like that, so we can get her business, and also like great to be able to also like do those things for. And
you're such a gentleman in the sense, whereas Bilal has agreed that my business will be my business, what our prenup says. Like, he has no control over my business. So I just want to tell you thanks for allowing me to keep that for me. Yeah,
I mean, from the aspect of financially, I mean, I'm sure many of y'all who want to start a business or have started a business, you know what it takes sometimes to do things financially. It could be, I'm not Warren Buffett, guys, like, right? So it could be a stretch financially to be able to do those things for your spouse, but you're doing it because you love them, you admire them,
but of course, the rewards,
see their vision.
The rewards that I get from my business, of course, I'm not going to be a selfish wife. I'm definitely going to contribute because he's helping me build this. It's only common sense that you'd want to do that for your
So you're willing to share with me?
I'll think about it. Don't get
but
get
no
too
ownership. Can't have no ownership. I can invest in it. I might give the capital to start it up, but I have no ownership. I have no say.
I might pay the gas bill. When he'd be nice to me, dropping me to the studio, whatever it is. Or I said, babe, take $60 for gas. That's from my business. Things like that. I will.
Baby, she don't even know. That shows you, like, I wish gas was $60. Like,
I didn't say I was filling up your tank of gas.
You know how much it takes to
I'm giving
fill
you a
up the
quarter.
tank?
Listen, a quarter. I didn't say I'm filling your tank.
You know what?
You know?
Just to have that ability not to even look at prices and
But it just shows
not have
how
to worry about it.
contributes.
She bought some milk the other day, just milk. She was like, geez, $7.50 for some milk. She still thinks like her mind is still like in Trinidad money. Because like for every $1 in American money is like $6 and
6.5 or something like that.
$6.75 in Trinidad money. So she thinks things are cheap until she calculates. She's like, oh no, that's not America. I thought America was like the land of the, like America is the land of the expensive.
Okay, let's go back to prenup and business. So recently I asked my husband, seeing that, we did a prenup and we agreed on certain things. And I asked him recently, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I said, babe, I think we should have a joint account now. His response was, no, we're not going to have a joint account. I was like, babe, are you serious? She was like, no, no joint account.
That is not.
Why
That is not
don't
my
you want to have a
response.
joint account with me? Like, what is it?
That was not my response.
Yes.
I said we can have a joint account, but I also have my other accounts, just like you should have another account. First of all, guys, I have multiple businesses, right? When you have LLCs and businesses, so each business has its own account. Some of them actually have more than one account, right? I can't just close that and put everything in a joint account. I have a business, I have taxes, all those different things. So I'm teaching her without trying to lecture her, just how to have things like for her business, she's gonna have to have her own account for her business. Like if somebody writes a check what has West Indian Bella on it and give it to you, you can't cash that and put it in Shaida Swing's, account. You have to have your own business account. So that's what I was trying to convey to her. She took it as I didn't want to have no joint. And I was like, furthermore, we can have a joint account, especially, we may start our own businesses and things like that together as well.
Yeah.
But also, too,
he's scared that I'm going to take all the money from the joint account and spend it on shoes and clothes.
Usually when something comes in, she immediately wants to take it out and go buy the things that she wants. Whereas for me,
ladies,
I'm all about.
Ladies, are you all guilty of that? Come on, we like to look nice. We like to smell good. We like to have nice things on our feet.
This is okay. So here.
So that's the reason why you don't want a joint account. You think I will spend all the money?
So here's the thing, guys. So this is how our household is, right? When it comes to certain things, right? So I've been blessed to have some really great mentors, and who from all across life who are very, very, very successful. And one of the things that I've learned, and that I've been taught, is that you can buy anything you want to in life, as long as other people pay for it. Okay? So I'm trying to give her, and that's our household mantra, is that you can buy whatever you want to as long as other people pay for it. So what does that mean? That means that if I want to go buy those new shoes or buy that new car or buy whatever, that vacation, we can get it, but how do we get other people to pay for it first? So instead of buying it, let's take our money and we go invest it into something like a property, a business, or whatever, and then the proceeds, like renters in this case, will pay for that new Louis Vuitton shoes or the nice vacation or that car note, right? We buy a couple of properties. So for me, I'm always about buying assets first to pay for our liabilities.
Okay. So back
but
to...
for her, she likes,
So
I want it now.
So that's your fear of having a joint account. I think I'm going to spend out all the money.
It's not the fear, babe, but true, like soon, like, hey, babe, we just sold this house, or babe, we just did this, or that. You're like, you can see it in her eyes. It's like, yes, let's go shopping.
No.
Yeah. She's like, can we go back to the Hamptons? Can we? I'm like, look at her. Am I telling on you right now?
Telling too much. He's telling too much.
So, like, just settle down. Down.
But eventually we would need to have a joint account, babe.
Yeah.
I really want one with you.
But I'm just saying, don't think that all the other accounts, 'cause I have quite a few other accounts, babe. Like, and you should have your own accounts too. Then we have a joint account as well.
Okay. Of course. I agree with you.
Like, literally, I took you to the bank and she has her own account.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything what she got in it. I give her stuff.
I don't know anything.
That goes back to again security. from the day we did a nikah, I have have I not been taking care of you?
You have
Even
been.
when you were in Trinidad.
Yeah.
Every month she would get something. Every month, right? So I just want to let you know when it comes back to the prenuptial contract stuff that there has not been one single thing that I have told you that I would do that I have not done. Mm-hmm. So if something were to happen to me, God forbid, today, you would be taken care of. And that was before we had a prenuptial agreement. Like I said, I have life insurance policies, I have trust, I have assets, I have, obviously.
One thing I do
some
admire
stuff
about you, babe, is how I think you're so financially smart. And we don't see much men like you in our black community. I know there are some, but I see a lot of people just not so knowledgeable. And when I married you, the information that you shared with me, I was able to share with my sisters and people who are around me, and I continue to learn in our relationship. And that's what I love in our relationship. There is growth. There always should be growth, so.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm an inner city kid who grew up, middle of America. And like most, inner city people, like we're not taught, my parents were strong, hard workers. And, they taught me and my siblings like a great deal of stuff, right? And my father, he actually like inspired me to get into real estate because he always had properties, he would buy stuff, but he had his full-time job. My mom had a full-time job. She would do things on the side as well. So like that, like went into me and my siblings, the just, and also like coming from where we come from, our community and under the leadership of Mandi Muhammad, like there's the do for self mentality. And so knowing that you can have a full-time job, there's nothing wrong with that, but you always want to have multiple streams of income. And I think a lot of people learned that too over, the last 2 years specifically when the pandemic hit and a lot of people lost their jobs and all that. Like even my business like went down tremendously when that happened, but luckily you have other streams of income that can come in to keep things afloat or keep you, living a certain type of lifestyle. But these things, to the point is that like these things that I learned, like unfortunately wasn't taught in school, and which should be, but it's almost like people like literally strategically like don't teach it in school where we're taught, all these other different stuff that like does not improve your life whatsoever, specifically when you're becoming an adult. Yeah. And so I had to go learn these things, obviously I learned some things from my parents, but I also had to learn how to go to like education doesn't stop once you get your degree and all that, because it's an ongoing thing. I had to go to workshops. I spent more money outside of school than in school to learn stuff and learn from really great people who are doing things at a very high level.
And something you taught me, not just to be about, don't talk about it, but be about it. So.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think back home, I say, I want to do this, I want to do that, and Bilal will be like, then go for it. And in my mind, I was like, how the hell can I go for it? Like, is it crazy? But then after when I started to read the books that you sent me, then I realized, you know what, you could change your life if you really want to.
If you really want to, if I guarantee you, like where you at right now in your life, like no matter how bad it may seem, there's somebody who's had it just as bad or worse that is out there killing it right now. Yeah. Right? It's all about how we spend our time. Like we all have 24. That's like the one thing we all have. No matter who you are, if you're Oprah, if you're unfortunately the guy on the curb who's homeless. Yeah. We have 24 hours. It's about like what we do in that time period that we have, are you on, watching TV all day? Yeah. When you get home, you want to unwind from work, whatever, or you want to invest in yourself and say, you know what, I'm gonna give myself a year, 2 years and like leave all this stuff alone and I'm gonna like focus on starting this new business, starting this company or this new software, whatever it is, and like you'll do it.
I admire that about you, honey. You're very smart. And I hope you guys enjoy our segment
We're not done, right?
We're done.
So are we agreeing that prenups are okay?
Okay. Prenups, listen, prenups are okay if your partner talks about it with you, and also if the prenup incorporates you in a positive way where there's something for you too. I think
it has to be fair.
It has to be fair. That's all I'm saying. Yes, prenup's okay. If it's fair, if it's one-sided, then I'll have a lawyer go through it and see if something could be incorporated for yourself. So just don't go and sign a prenup without having someone give you the legal knowledge of, Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a great segment. And
my love.
Love you guys. We love you guys.
No, we're not done.
We're done.
We got, there's commercials coming on after this and all.
We're done. Of the questions you guys were thinking about, I wonder if they should talk about this. So I hope we answered some of those questions for you all.
So I do think that you hear me a lot. I don't use the word. You hear me say contract a lot because I just know that prenup has a really bad negative that's attached to it. But I do think that no matter if you are a woman or a man, that you want to make sure that you do have things in place. Because I have seen and I've heard, unfortunately, so many situations where specifically a person who has, who has had some things that worked all their life, and they're at middle age, not a spring chicken as used to be, and they have maybe a pension, 401k and stuff like that, and they marry a person, and the next thing you know, things don't go work out right, and unfortunately sometimes we should leave a marriage in good terms, but a lot of times it don't happen, and the next thing you know, you see he or her take half of whatever that they have. And that's not right. That's definitely not in our religion. And that next thing you know, that person now has to work for the rest of life. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of that from traveling all around the country and helping people financially and all that. And they tell me where they're at in their situation. Like I'm talking tears, crying, their situation, and they have children too, because they, went through a bitter, unfortunately, divorce and all that. So, not just from a prenuptial standpoint too, but guys, one thing that's going to happen is that we're all going to die one day, and you just want to make sure that you have things in place to also, take care of your spouses. Where I come from, a lot of times, somebody passed, unfortunately, there's people trying to, raise money from doing
for burials,
dinners for burials and all that. You want to have things in place. You guys got to get wills, have wills. She's been in my will. Guys want to make sure that you get, life insurance. Again, she's been in my life insurance. You guys want to get a trust. She's on my trust stuff, as well as my children, etc. Because if you don't have a trust, it's going to go through probate.
Oh, wow.
And you want to make sure that that money that they have to put towards lawyers' fees and the court costs and all that, instead of doing that, it goes to your heirs of who you want them to be. So I know we're talking prenup, but all that goes with each other because we're talking contracts.
It is. And it's very, it's good information.
Yeah, talk to an attorney, talk to your accountant, but you want to make sure you have things in place. Because we all going to leave this life one day, and we don't know when, but Yeah. All right, guys. We thank you so much for listening, being here, being really supportive. We have some really amazing fans. So we thank you guys. On to the next podcast.
Bye.
Peace out.